This week on Hometown Ghost Stories. In the shadow of Limerick's misty River Shannon stands King John's Castle, its stone walls etched with 8 centuries of blood and betrayal. Built in 1210 on the orders of the infamous King John, England's treacherous tyrant, murderer of kin, and reluctant signer of the Magna Carta, the fortress witnessed sieges where countless men lost their lives. Now, in the dead of night, vague whispers slither through its halls, and shadows twist unnaturally. From poltergeist activity to shadow figures and a banshee on the bridge, it's no wonder why this castle has grown a dark reputation as being extremely haunted. Join us as we dive into the history and hauntings of King John's Castle, Limerick, Ireland.
Hometown Ghost Stories contains serious and often distressing events and is not intended for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
It would have been a quiet night in Limerick had it not been for drunken Thaddy and his old friend Seamus. The two men staggered down the road together toward the River Shannon, each leaning heavily on the other, neither quite certain who was keeping whom upright. They sang as they walked, loud, off-key, and without much agreement on tempo.
Oh,
here's good luck to the pint pot, good luck to the barley mow. Jolly good luck to the pint pot, good luck to the barley mow. When they reached the bridge near the castle, they chose not to cross it. Instead, they climbed down along the riverbed beneath it, preferring the mud and dark water to the risk of crossing paths with anyone wearing authority. Not that they were doing anything truly wrong, aside from being two spectacular drunken fools. Their song continued, dissolving into fragments and half-remembered verses. Oh, the pint pot, half a pint, gill pot, half a gill, quarter gill, napperkin, and a brown bowl. Suddenly, Seamus fell silent. He grabbed Thaddy's sleeve and gave it a sharp tug. Thaddy sang on for another line or two before noticing. When he finally stopped and turned to his friend, he heard it. A wailing sound, faint but unmistakable, drifting across the still surface of the Shannon. The two men stood in silence. The sound seemed to stretch and thin, growing more distant with each passing second. When it finally faded, Thaddy opened his mouth to resume the song, only to let out a long, thunderous belch instead. They laughed, satisfied that whatever they'd heard was gone, and continued along the riverbank. That's when they saw her. She stood in the water just ahead of them, waist deep in the river, tall, pale, gaunt. Her mouth hung open as if mid-wail, though no sound came from it. The river did not move around her. Thaddy squinted. "Must be a one-night stand I disappointed at some point," he muttered. The woman lifted one arm and beckoned. Thaddy froze. Seamus did not. Seamus stepped forward, boots sinking into the river. Thaddy reached out to grab him, but his foot slipped in the mud and he pitched forward, landing face first in a wet, breathless grunt. When he lifted his head, he saw Seamus take the woman's hand, and they were gone. No splash, no struggle, just empty water. Seamus's bloated body was found on the riverbank the next morning. According to legend, drunken Thaddy never drank again, and for the rest of his life, he never went anywhere near the castle or the bridge, no matter how thirsty he was, or how short the road might have been. I'm Dave Wilkins, and this is Hometown Ghost Stories, King John's Castle, Ireland.
There are few powerful figures in medieval history that cast a darker shadow than King John of England. Born on Christmas Eve in 1166, the youngest son of Henry II was deprived of substantial estates, while his elder brothers inherited vast domains. Ambitious, cunning, and often ruthless, John would rise to the throne not through primogeniture, but through betrayal and opportunism, leaving a trail of blood, broken oaths, and shattered alliances in his wake. John's early years were marked by treachery. In 1189, he deserted his dying father to side with his brother, Richard the Lionheart, in rebellion. When Richard departed on the Third Crusade in 1190, John plotted against him, allying with King Philip II of France to seize power. Captured and ransomed, Richard forgave him, perhaps foolishly, but John's appetite for power only grew. Upon Richard's death in 1199, John claimed the crown over his nephew Arthur of Brittany, igniting brutal conflict. In 1202, John captured Arthur, and many say that he personally murdered the boy in a drunken rage at Rouen Castle. They say he may have drowned him in the River Shannon or slit his throat. The atrocity alienated his Norman barons, who defected to Philip. The wars in France were catastrophic. John's continental empire, the Angevin lands inherited from his father, crumbled. In 1204, the decisive fall of Chateau Gaillard led to the loss of Normandy. By 1214, John's desperate counteroffensive ended in humiliation at the Battle of Bouvines, where his allies were crushed by Philip's forces. Vast sums extorted from England through crippling taxes, scutage fees, arbitrary fines, and seizures of church property fueled these failures. John's cruelty extended to the church. In 1207, his refusal to accept the Archbishop of Canterbury sparked a bitter quarrel with the Pope. In 1208, the Pope would ban sacraments and plunge the realm into spiritual darkness. No baptisms, marriages, or burials on consecrated ground. Excommunicated in 1209, John seized church lands and wealth, but by 1213, facing invasion threats, he abjectly submitted, surrendering England as a papal fief and paying humiliating tribute. At home, John's rule was tyrannical. He demanded exorbitant reliefs from heirs, imprisoned rivals without trial, and starved enemies to death in dungeons. The wife and son of William de Braose perished in Windsor Castle's cells in 1210 after de Braose abandoned them to flee John's wrath. Barons chafed under his arbitrary justice, heavy taxation, and erosion of feudal rights. Rebellion erupted in 1215. Northern barons, armed and defiant, captured London. Cornered, John met them at Runnymede on June 15, 1215, and sealed the Magna Carta, a great charter curbing royal power, guaranteeing fair trial, limiting taxes, and affirming baronial privileges. But John had no intention of honoring it. With papal backing, he renounced the charter as coerced. Civil War, the First Barons' War, engulfed England. Rebels invited Prince Louis of France to claim the throne. French forces invaded in 1216. John ravaged the north in brutal campaigns, burning crops and towns, but dysentery struck him amid the chaos. On October 18, 1216, at Newark Castle, the despised king died in agony. His empire fractured, his body racked by fever. Yet even in his turbulent reign, John's gaze turned westward to Ireland, the lordship granted him by his father in 1177. As a young prince, he visited in 1185, alienating Gaelic lords with arrogance and mockery. Returning as king in 1210, John led a formidable expedition to assert control over the rebellious Anglo-Norman barons and consolidate Norman gains against Irish chieftains. He fortified key sites, granted charters, and imposed royal authority, quelling dissent through force and diplomacy. It was during this period of Irish consolidation that John's most enduring moment emerged on the banks of the River Shannon. In 1200, on orders of King John himself, construction began on a mighty fortress at Limerick, a strategic outpost on King's Island atop ancient Viking earthworks from 922, designed without a central keep but with massive curtain walls, drum towers, and a formidable gatehouse. It guarded the Shannon crossing against Gaelic threats from the west and potential Norman rebellion from the east. Completed around 1210 to 1212, during John's Irish campaign, the castle housed a royal mint, symbolizing his grip on trade and taxation. Although John never actually set foot within its walls, This imposing stronghold, grim, unyielding, and blood-soaked through centuries of sieges, bears his name eternally, King John's Castle, a dark legacy in stone overlooking the restless waters of Ireland. Under Norman rule, Limerick flourished as a trading port. The castle housed a royal mint, striking silver pennies that fueled the city's wealth. Englishtown grew on King's Island, while Irishtown developed across the river. But peace didn't last. The 17th century brought unparalleled turmoil to Limerick, earning its grim distinction of enduring 5 sieges, more than any other Irish city. King John's Castle stood at the center of these conflicts. The first came in the spring of 1642, amid the chaos of the Irish Rebellion of 1641. As Catholic Irish rose against Protestant settlers, around 600 English Protestants fled to the castle for refuge, fortifying it under Captain George Courtney. The predominantly Catholic city appealed to the Irish Confederate forces at Kilkenny for aid. General Garrett Barry arrived with 1,500 men, but lacked heavy artillery. Undeterred, his troops dug mines beneath the eastern curtain wall and southeast bastion, propping them with timber ready to burn and collapse the foundations. Snipers harassed the defenders from nearby houses in St. Mary's Cathedral. Food and water ran scarce. Disease ravaged the garrison. After 5 grueling weeks, the Protestants surrendered on honorable terms in June of 1642, before the mines could even be fired. The castle fell to the Confederates, but its walls bore permanent scars, visible breaches that you could still see today. Later sieges followed the Irish Confederate Wars and Cromwellian conquest. In 1650, Oliver Cromwell's forces under Henry Ayrton besieged the city for 6 months. The castle, part of the heavily fortified English town, held out amid starvation and plague. Thousands died in the wider siege, soldiers and civilians alike, with over 2,000 Parliamentarian troops perishing from disease alone. Ayrton himself succumbed to the plague during the campaign. Limerick finally surrendered in October 1651, marking a brutal chapter in the conquest of Ireland. The most famous sieges came in 1690 and 1691 during the Williamite War, when Jacobite forces loyal to Catholic King James II defended Limerick against William of Orange's Protestant army. They repelled attackers in 1690, but the city fell after a second siege in 1691. The resulting Treaty of Limerick, signed on the nearby Treaty Stone, allowed Jacobite soldiers safe passage to France, the legendary Flight of the Wild Geese. Though the castle itself saw less direct action in these later sieges, it remained as a key stronghold, symbolizing resistance. Deaths at the castle were numerous across these conflicts. Siege warfare brought starvation, cannon fire, mining explosions, and rampant disease. Excavations have revealed siege mines, countermines, and artifacts like pistols from the tunnels. Skeletal remains from the period, likely soldiers and civilians caught in the crossfire, have been unearthed in the courtyard and surrounding areas. After the 17th century, the castle's military role waned. It served as a barracks, court, and even housing in later years. By the 20th century, parts were in ruin. Major excavations in the 1990s and a £5.7 million redevelopment from 2011 to 2013 transformed it into a world-class visitor center, with interactive exhibits, 3D models, and views from the towers, bringing its sagas of sieges and survival vividly to life. With multiple sieges and thousands of deaths in and around the castle, you guessed it, it's haunted. The heavily fortified gatehouse, designed to repel armies, now seems to be home to an eternal guardian. Witnesses report sightings of the Gatehouse Sentinel, a ghostly medieval soldier clad in full-plate armor, complete with helmet, breastplate, and gleamy weaponry. He appears most often under a full moon or on clear, moonlit nights, standing vigil as if still defending against invaders. Most assume that this ghost is a remnant of a loyal knight from King John's era, perhaps slain during a forgotten skirmish, bound by duty to protect the fortress eternally. But not all of the spirits at the castle are so benign. Ascend to the northeastern tower as dusk falls in the summer, and you might get a glimpse of the Black Lady. A ghostly woman in noble black robes, her long golden hair flowing like a banner in the wind. She paces the battlements, gazing out over the city with an air of melancholy. Who is she? Legends whisper of a noblewoman betrayed during the castle's turbulent history. Her appearances are fleeting, vanishes as night fully claims the sky, leaving investigators standing in cold spots. Many speculate that she's searching for something: justice, peace, or a love lost to the ages. And most concerningly is the Limerick Banshee, a malevolent force tied to the River Shannon's treacherous currents. This spirit haunts the bridge, manifesting as the vengeful ghost of the Bishop of Limerick's despised wife, who was dragged to a watery grave by enraged townfolk centuries ago. Known as the Bishop's Lady, she lurks in the shadows, attempting to lure late-night visitors or wanderers into the depths below. Embedded in local lore is the harrowing story of drunken Thaddy, a petty criminal who encountered her wrath. One fateful night, as he crossed the bridge with a friend, the Banshee compelled them to climb into the river. One of the men was pulled under immediately and drowned, but Thaddy, in a moment of desperation, prayed and vowed to reform his ways. Miraculously, he spotted a boat anchored close by. Staying true to his word, he turned his life around, but he made sure never to set foot on that bridge again. Deeper within the castle's halls, the paranormal activity intensifies. Strange lights and glowing orbs flit through the air. Poltergeist phenomena are rampant. Heavy oak doors crash closed when no one is near, sending echoes through the stone corridors. But the most unnerving are the auditory hauntings. The rhythmic march of invisible soldiers, the clatter of armor, and the clash of swords, as if a medieval battle rages on. These sounds, ghost hunters and tour guides theorize, are the residual imprints from the castle's violent past. Echoes of Viking raids, Norman conquests, and the sieges replaying like a broken record in the ether. Paranormal investigation teams have captured disembodied voices whispering warnings and pleas, with one team capturing video footage of a shadow figure gliding atop the castle walls. According to tour guides, X-ray technology revealed hundreds of dead bodies buried beneath the castle in a mass grave, likely from one of the 5 sieges. They estimated no fewer than 500 human skulls still lie in the pit. There's no telling how many spirits plague this castle. But with disease claiming lives, sieges, and wars, it's a dark and perfect recipe for a very haunted building. I'm Jesse Wilkins, and this is Hometown Ghost Stories, King John's Castle, Limerick, Ireland.
What is going on, folks? Welcome into Hometown Ghost Stories. Oh, I added the wrong person. Get out of here, Brent. Welcome into Hometown Ghost Stories. I'm Jesse Wilkins, joined by Rob Coakley. Hello, Rob.
Very unfortunate situation. We just saw a ghost live on stream. Had to get the ghost out of here. We are the Ghostbusters.
And we're also joined by Dave Wilkins. Hello, Dave.
Hello.
You look suspiciously like Brent Thomas there for a second.
I know. It's a cool trick I learned.
Yeah, that was impressive. But spoiler, we're also joined by Brent Thomas. Hello, Brent. Welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Great to be here. It's been a while.
It has been a little while. It's good to see you.
We've already kicked you off the show once tonight, so be on your P's and Q's.
The power of faith compels me.
Yes. So if you're unfamiliar with Brent, you may know him from the Paranormal Portal. If you haven't watched the Paranormal Portal, which I can't say apparently right now, the Paranormal Portal, then we highly recommend you check it out. We've been on his show. He's been on this show many times. He's the most repeat guest that we've had. He's been on the show so many times. That's good. So we
Great
were
intro,
panicking.
Jesse. You've kicked him off the show. You've given him the best intro of all time.
Yep.
It's been real good.
Absolutely. Yeah. Crushed
nice.
it. It's good to have you again.
Thanks.
But yeah, we're covering Ireland today. What's going on to everybody hanging out in live chat? Very generous day so far. Brenda C kicked it off with 50 gifted Hometown Ghost Stories memberships. Whisper came in with 20 gifted memberships, and so did Tess. And then another Vice just came in with 20 gifted memberships as well. And happy resub day to the legendary Demon King. So thank you guys so much for that. That is a heck of a way to start off the episode. It's so good to have you guys here. It's good to have Rob here. We didn't know if Rob was going to be here, which is why you got back-to-back Jesse episodes. But Rob was hospitalized with Pepsi foot, but he's out.
Pepsi foot? Is that what we're going to call it?
Something like that.
Yeah, no. Cellulitis, but we survived. We got out of the hospital. We can still do this show. Hopefully everyone had a better holiday than I had. If you didn't, what you can do is you can buy yourself the gift over on Patreon, and the $10 and $20 tiers over there can get some exclusive content for the month of December, where Dave takes us on a little journey through different takes us on a what?
Journey through time.
Oh, a journey through time to different holiday haunted spirits. Some of them are like insanely terrifying, and some of them are the silliest shit I've ever heard in my life. So you might want to go check that out.
Absolutely. So we're covering King John's Castle in Limerick, Ireland. This is a place we've been to. Limerick. I don't believe we went to this castle. We went to a couple of castles when we were in Ireland. It's been a long time though. Many years. Yes. Ireland, absolutely a gorgeous place that I would 100% go back to.
We would have went to Ireland on our next trip, but Jesse really didn't want to go, especially since we're going to be there on St. Patrick's Day.
No, I was pushing heavily for Ireland. Rob is lying, and I was like gung ho about it. Like I was like, I want to do Ireland, but just didn't make sense.
Being in Ireland was surreal when we were there, because we're used to just New England, right? And we're over in Ireland and we're cruising down the road, and there are just ruined castles from the 10th century that you just casually on the side of the road, and it's just insane.
Yeah,
really, it was a super, big time culture shock when we were over there.
It's like that in Idaho, though, right, Brent? Like,
we got
just
that
castles everywhere.
It's laying all over the side of the road. Yeah. or mostly ruined cars out here, but yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Almost the same. Yeah, it was shocking to see. It was also shocking to see that there was far more cows than people that we were driving past, for sure. We were told about the sheep. They were like, oh, there's just millions and millions of sheep, which I don't doubt that there are. But we saw, at least where we were in Ireland, we saw way more cows than sheep. Just cows everywhere.
And they were just free roaming cows, not in fenced in areas like you see over here in the United States. Just like there's just a bunch of cows at the bar.
No, they're all roaming around. I don't know if we told this story, but one day we were young. I don't even know how old we were, but I did see a picture of us from that trip, and I was like, we were a lot younger than I thought we were. So when we were kids, but we were hopping around, hopping fences and wandering and just kind of checking out the landscape, and we encountered a bunch of cows, and these ones were fenced in, like loosely, not securely enough apparently, because we're like, oh, let's go pet a cow. They don't seem aggressive. We were wrong. They were aggressive, and they started by curiously following us, and then they started like running into each other and like stampeding. And then we panicked. So we're like full sprinting. We hop a fence. So do the cows. And then all of the cows from the next pasture joined in the stampede. And then they started hopping fences. And we're like, I didn't even know cows could jump. And we've ruined a lot of farmers' days that day, I think.
Oh, we got yelled at by a couple farmers for sure.
Yeah.
You guys initiated the first running of the bulls in Ireland.
It was a big moment of panic, and then we had to scale it. Like the house that we were staying at, we were staying with some old friends, and they had like a 10-foot like cement wall, or it was probably like 3 feet, but we were very small. We're really tall now, but it felt like about 10 feet. And we get to the wall and we're like, I don't think we're getting over this. The cows are coming, and we're trying to scale this wall. And anyways, we got over it. And we walked in the house. We're like, the cows are chasing us, and they just didn't even care. They're like, that's fine. They do that. I'm like, oh, okay.
What a great story would have been if we would have lost one of you to that. Like,
Yep.
I mean, tragic and all, but just telling the story. If I had met Jesse, like I used to have an older brother, Dave.
We lost him to the cows.
We lost him to the cows in Ireland. And I would have to be like, what does that mean?
Cows got him back in 98.
They're still searching for me.
Yeah, but it was a good trip. Pops had listed the castles that we went to. Apparently, Leap Castle was one of them.
He's been to Ireland more than once. I don't know if we went to Leap Castle.
Okay, we did go to several castles, and one of them they were having like a whole shepherd's pie thing, and it was really cool. Like it was like almost like if you've been to like a medieval manor feast, except those are at like fake castles. At least the one in Boston was, and but yeah, it was really cool. Like you sat out in the courtyard with hundreds of people and some of the best shepherd's pie. Actually, I will say it was the best shepherd's pie I've ever had. It was quite good. Quite good.
It was good, but it was, because we were used to shepherd's pie that we would have here in America. And then when we got there, they're like, here's your shepherd's pie. I'm like, it's not shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
But the joke was on me. It was shepherd's pie.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. Saw the Blarney Stone? I might be saying that wrong.
No, it's Blarney.
Yep.
Didn't kiss it.
No.
Shouldn't.
Oh, that's why the cows chased you.
Right. No, they're getting revenge. You respect
You're not going to kiss our stone. You get the fuck out of here.
We need to see pics, Jesse and Dave. We'll see if we can dig it up. We'll throw it up in Discord or Patreon or both. But we were quite young. The only picture I remember from that trip was actually in London. It was a really short flight just to fly over to London for a day. So we did that. It was like a 45-minute flight or something like that. It was quick.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was
Sketchy
cool.
little plane.
It was. But anyway, so we're talking about Limerick today. We went through kind of the life and the battles and Game of Thrones story of King John. So a lot of this story didn't even take place in Ireland as we went through his life because he was King of England and a lord in Ireland. But he had ordered the building of this castle. He may have been there in like the very beginning of it because that's when he was in Ireland. But as far as I know, he might never have even gone into the castle.
It's possible. I mean, they'd have these castles built all over, and whether or not they go to them is irrelevant to them naming it after themselves. These were the characters from the Robin Hood cartoon, correct?
Yes.
Cartoon. That's what it started as, our cartoon, not the.
I was referencing the cartoon specifically because the snake and the tank behind me is named after the snake from that cartoon.
Yeah, well, of course, the King John was a fox or whatever he was in that.
A lion.
A lion. Yeah. What are we doing here?
That's not the one we're talking about. We're not talking about King John the Lion, the original Lion King.
Oh, Jesus.
That was good. It all came full circle there. But he first went to Ireland. He was young. I think he was like 10 years old. And he was a prince at the time. And his father appointed him Lord of Ireland. And he did not like the Irish people. There was writings that I think were... I don't remember who the writings were from, whether they were from him or someone that he was talking to when he was there, but he was basically like mocking them when he was there. He thought they were dumb people. He thought they were uncivilized. He didn't like them. And I was saying there
was like a rivalry between the Irish and the English.
I'm starting to think so. Yeah. But yeah, so it started with him kind of mocking their customs, and then when he came back as king, they didn't like him, he didn't like them, and he governed poorly. And all of the lords, the Norman lords, they all thought he was like arrogant. But either way, he ordered the building of this castle, and it was in a very strategic spot, obviously, right on the river, so you could defend against rebels that way, and Normans that way, or whatever could come their way. It was a very strategic thing. It was kind of different in terms of castle. There's no central keep. It's got a big old courtyard, but it's got the big towers and everything like that. And it has, it was a very important military stronghold. And this is why it was under siege, like constantly. So more sieges, I believe, than any other castle in Ireland. It endured 5 of them, which is a lot. And thousands of people died in and around, which is why it has this reputation of being so haunted. And I was watching a documentary on it, and according to the tour guides, they said that they did some sort of X-ray technology underneath, and they had found evidence of at least one big old burial pit. And they said that there was no fewer than like 500 bodies down there. And they said it could be as many as 600, but they saw this, and I tried to like get some follow-up evidence and find some documents on this scan and what they actually found, and I really couldn't find anything. So I'm really just going off the word of a tour guide. Could be completely fake or not substantiated yet, but if we just rely on what they're saying, and he sounded like a knowledgeable guy, seemed reputable, so maybe that's some new information that's going to come out, but that's a lot of bodies.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than 400.
What were some of the siege tactics they used to use back during these battles? I'd love to talk about that.
Yeah, so you had your typical siege tactics, but one of them, this is again coming from, I believe, the same tour guide. So I don't know if there's historical documents to back this up. I don't know if you looked more into it, but one of my favorite.
This is true.
This is true. Okay, so one of my favorite tactics that they used, and Brent, you've probably done this before, is when they were launching a siege, they would take plague victims, and they were catapulting the plague victims over the wall at the enemy.
Wow.
This is actually a siege strategy that they used frequently during the time of the Black Plague. So it was whether or not it's well documented for this location, it is a well documented siege tactic. So it would not surprise me if it was one they employed here at this castle.
That's real weird though, because you lob these corpses over, and what do you wait like a month for something to happen? I mean, it's not like people.
I think it's a
plague die,
Sieges are wars of attrition, so you're doing anything to get the people on the inside to give up, and that is a great way to get. I'd give up. I'd be like, I'm out. I'm leaving right now. The castle's yours. It's ruined. You can have it.
That's actually how I got home from the hospital today.
I do wonder if they were all dead bodies, or if they're like launching some patients over, like,
no, I'm getting better.
And they're probably telling them on the way, be like, all right, well, before you hit the ground, we need you to yell out and let them know that you're sick. Otherwise, how are they going to know that you were a plague victim at all?
Yeah.
I have a bad rash. Yeah. Could happen.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was one of the many siege tactics, but a lot of it was trying to cut off supply lines, starve them out, cut off water, but they seem to be well stocked in there. And a lot of these sieges, they held out for like 6 months at times, so it wasn't a quick process. It wasn't a short battle. So yeah, I guess if you launch a couple plague victims over the wall and then wait 6 months, maybe it was working. Who knows? But either way, I mean, with countless battles here, countless sieges, a whole lot of treachery, a whole lot of deaths in and around too, because then it wasn't just inside the tower where they launched the plague victims, but the plague was also ravaging outside the tower as well, and you had tons of people dying from that, thousands. So pretty wild.
They should have built a Trojan horse and filled the Trojan horse with plague victims and then sent them into the castle.
I don't think people fall for the Trojan horse anymore.
Yeah, that's had to have been like a one and done. The second time they try it, they're like, we know.
No, that's what they want you to think. That's what they want you to think.
Couldn't have been a horse.
How many times has the Trojan special worked in the NFL? So many. So
yeah, scoring a touchdown's a little bit different than besieging a castle.
Is it?
Yes. A little bit. But but there's a good amount of ghosts here. And one of my favorite ones was the story that we told in the beginning there, which you got a little exclusive singing from me and Dave there.
Yep.
Very excited to do that.
That was a real traditional Irish drinking song.
Yes, from hundreds of years after the story took place, but people don't need to know that.
They didn't, but now they do.
I didn't until you told me. But
yeah.
You guys want to sing it for us right now?
No, we got it.
Trojan sheep could have worked. Yeah, I started to go down this line of jokes and I forgot about it, but I was going to say it could have been a Trojan cow, Trojan sheep, Trojan potato.
Oh, they would love that.
Yep.
That would make them very happy.
Yeah.
I know. Stop thinking of other animals. just keep telling.
My favorite animal, Trojan leprechaun.
Yep.
Oh, so you're just going to send Dave full of plague victims?
Eat another plague victim, Dave. You haven't had enough.
Just roll Dave in some plague quick and then put him on a... Oh, no.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. But, yeah. So we had talked about the tale of Thady, and there's a few variations on it, but it's an old story. I believe it was like a short story. I think it was published. I looked it up and it looked like it was a something that you could purchase. But yeah, apparently, like him and his buddy, they were just crossing. They were going to cross this bridge, and a few versions of it have it where he was lured. They were lured down by the river by a banshee, and they go into the water. A lot of these versions of the tale have it with him and a friend. I've heard other versions that just have it as him.
Yep.
And the friend gets coerced into going into the water, drowns.
I had to do the version with the friend because I wasn't going to sing the song by myself. Wouldn't have had the same effect.
No, that's true. But people would have been deprived of not hearing that beautiful song.
Right. But the story actually is told as sort of like a parable, I guess, kind of, and it has an allegory to it, and it's the banshee lured them out, and it was to, the moral of the story was to get Thady to stop being a drunk, and it worked. But one version of the story is he quit drinking, but then he never spoke again, and he died very shortly after of a mysterious cause. So it's
Is there still sightings of that, or is this just relegated to ancient history?
So it's folklore, but people still claim to hear the banshee. They claim to see the woman in white in the water, and a lot of the banshee lore kind of you get a lot of that plays into what people hear. They hear what they want to hear, but who's to say?
I'm always curious because there's colorful tales like that in cultures around the world that are relegated to this ancient history, and then they just kind of disappear. And I'm just curious if there was any more current things going on with that, because I think there's probably something to it, but it's obviously been bloated by retellings and exaggerations and such through the generations.
Banshees they have heavy historical ties to Celtic culture, and they're basically like familial ghosts. Each family will have their own sort of banshee, and the banshee will show up in times of, sickness or things like that. And they show up as sort of as like a warning, sort of to tell, warn the family member something bad's coming. So,
but this banshee actually has a backstory as well. It's not just a random banshee that showed up to drown people, but it's believed that she was a bishop's wife, and it's specifically, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but Thomond Bridge. That's the bridge that she's supposed to haunt. But she was a bishop's wife, and she was from Limerick. And in life, they don't really know what her actual name was, but she was known for kind of being a party girl. She liked parties, she liked playing cards, drinking, not really bishop wife-ish, which is why she ended up getting banished. There's versions of the story that say that she was banished to the Red Sea by a priest whose name was Father Power.
Nice.
So he was a powerful priest for sure. And then I don't know what's the process of turning into a banshee, Brent? Do you know?
I don't know. I would understood the same line of discussion that Dave did, that they're basically ancient spirits tied to a family line. But
Usually it's
in this case
from
it's made. But go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, sorry. That's when a family member dies in some way, usually related to grief, which could be sometimes they are vengeful because they were murdered, sometimes they were wronged, sometimes they died of sickness, and those are the ones that sort of come in and give you warnings of things to come. So it just depends on the family, but they're usually based on a human spirit.
Okay,
that was a member of the family.
That's brand new to me. That's cool.
Mm.
Very cool.
Yeah, but she seems to be kind of like a stickler for the rules now, and which is weird because from these accounts, I mean, like I said, it's all based in legend and lore, but she was a partier, but now she haunts this bridge, and if you're out too late, that's when she punishes you by drowning you in a river. So
maybe it's because it was the partying that got her killed, right?
No, maybe, yeah.
I'm kind of curious about another part of this, if you don't mind. Is this after the Church of England was established, or was it still under papal rule? Because how could the bishop have a girl if they were commanded to be celibate and not with anyone else? That's what I'm kind of curious about.
I don't know if the bishops were the ones that had to be celibate. I know priests were.
Yeah.
I don't know if bishops were.
Oh, okay. I guess I was assuming that it was a rule of
I mean, we know they weren't. They couldn't get married.
Fair enough.
Right. Oh, yeah, we're conflating celibacy with marriage. They're not allowed to get married. Technically, they're supposed to be celibate too, but let's find out.
That's what I would be curious of. We could just solve this. Do we want, since it's tied to family grief, anyone have someone they want to sacrifice, and we can create our own banshee?
No, I'm good.
Nope.
Oh, you don't want to say that publicly on air?
Bishops, apparently bishops in the Catholic and Eastern Orthodoxy are required to be celibate and cannot marry.
I
don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. We're poking holes in the story here.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't either.
Well,
Good question.
Well, so I don't know how big Orthodox Christianity was over here, but in Orthodox, like the priests can get married.
Yeah, but not the bishops.
I don't know. Hang on, let's find out. We're gonna get to the bottom of religion today.
Yeah.
we're gonna solve all of religion right now.
Eastern Orthodoxy, the priests are allowed to get married. Catholics are not. The priests are not allowed to marry. Apparently, bishops are not either.
No, bishops no. And in Greek Orthodox and Eastern Orthodox, they can't be married. Can any bishops get married?
This is riveting.
Well, under the Episcopalians, they can and have and do.
I feel like it's just the most strict religions. Like the Orthodox and the Catholics are very, very strict. Yeah. The others are kind of like, do whatever.
Here's a little loophole. So if it's Eastern Orthodoxy or Eastern Catholic churches, they can be married, but that's only if they were married before they were ordained.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
A loophole.
Loophole indeed.
The bishop loophole.
Like you're like, I mean, I won't even go there, but I mean, you can believe in what you want to believe. I'm very much like, if I was going to be a bishop, I would never not want to be married. So it's like, if you were going to go into it, wouldn't you just get married first, so you don't have to be not married for the rest of your life? But I don't know. I guess
Rob, you could be a bishop.
Me?
Yeah.
I could be a bishop?
Yeah, you can be a bishop. You have no family.
I don't think I would be a very good bishop.
No, I don't think you would. Let's go down the checklist. You meet none of the criteria.
That's a church I could attend.
So we can move on from our breakdown of the church and their rules, I suppose. But yeah, so she could have existed, and that's pretty much all we know about it. I mean, has she killed anyone else? I don't know. I'm sure plenty of people around those times went missing, and I'm sure plenty of people still do, and I'm sure plenty of people unfortunately drown in that river, and maybe she's responsible for some of them. But people claim to still see the white ghost in the waters and hear her, and best to be careful. Isn't that the thing with the Banshee, is the louder she's singing, the further she is away or something like that? Or is that just La Llorona?
Yeah. That's La Llorona, but La Llorona is associated with Banshees. And that is one of the attributes that I've heard Banshees have. That's why I included it in the story.
It's just one of the most terrifying details.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And I did notice that when you said that she looked like she was screaming but wasn't making any noise.
Right. Yeah, they heard the noise and it got quieter.
It's crazy how, like, we've talked about this before, but different versions of ghosts from different cultures, and they all sort of have similarities. The Banshee, La Llorona, you have sirens that are ancient times as well. So like, I've always found that some of the most fascinating parts of like this whole thing, where so many different cultures report the same things or close to the same things, and it's like they were not talking to each other, but here we are with different versions of the same type of ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's almost like the dragon theory, right? Where you have different cultures depicting dragons that never really communicated with each other. So it makes you think. I'm on team dragons were probably real. Where you guys at on dragons?
I'm on team dragons, where people finding dinosaur bones and then probably deciphering them as dragons. However, their interpretations of dragons were a lot of the same. Like the Chinese had dragons that breathed fire, so did the English. So like it's still an interesting concept where you have cultures not talking to each other and drawing the same parallels of what these creatures did. So
yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah, stories get passed down, and cultures and people were always migrating around the world. We had that land bridge from Asia or Europe to wherever, Asia to Alaska there, and people crossed it.
You want to show us that land bridge on a map?
Yeah, Alaska, it's Bering, the
Bering land bridge.
Yeah.
Brent, you're a believer in cryptids and different kind of things. Could a dragon be a cryptid?
I don't know that if they do exist, I think they're probably relegated to somewhere else in some kind of dimensional. We get dimensional peaks at them. Historically, I find it really interesting, like you said, that there's global references for these fire serpents. Some of them had legs, some of them were more snake-like and such, but the breathing fire was very consistent, or lightning, having to do with more elemental things. So maybe it was an old dinosaur. I mean, the fossil record's incomplete. We're discovering new dinosaurs all the time. So maybe it is some ancient memory that still surfaces in our folklores.
It's tough to make that make sense in a timeline, though, because the difference in time between when dinosaurs and humans existed.
But if they dug up the bones, is what my point be.
Yeah, but that wouldn't do anything for the fire breathing part, right?
No, probably not. But
yeah,
there was magic in the ancient world that really doesn't make sense in a lot of ways today.
True.
That's an interesting theory, and I never really thought of that, where they're still discovering like new species of dinosaurs and everything. And maybe they just haven't found the dinosaur yet. But again, how would people have known that they breathe fires?
Yeah, Fraley says unless they studied the larynx. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know how you determine fire came from this larynx due to a fossil that we found, Yeah.
I remember, and I don't know if I told this story because I think we might have had this conversation on the show, but I remember me and the wife were just watching TV and we're flipping around and we're on like the History Channel or something like that. And they're going through like this breaking discovery of this like frozen dinosaur that they found. And as they continue to like thaw it out and look at all the different pieces, they start to realize like we got a freaking dragon. And they had drawn comparisons to the glands with like an insect that can kind of breathe fire that actually exists. And then towards like later on, like 45 minutes, we're watching this thing. And then we finally like Google it, like the name of the show and everything. And it was complete fiction, but it was like pitched as a real documentary. We're like, oh my God, they found a dragon.
They did
We're
a series
idiots.
of those.
We're so dumb.
They did a mermaid one too.
Yeah, they're called mockumentaries. It's just, and it's maddening because you're right. They don't disclose that it's a work of fiction until like much later.
Yeah, or maybe they do at the very beginning of the show. But this was, we were flipping through like cable channels and we just ended up on that. We're like, this looks interesting, and we missed the part that it wasn't real. I'm a very gullible I believe anything.
Well, that happened in the early 1990s on the BBC. They were doing one about a family haunting, and at the very, very beginning, they disclosed that it was a work of fiction, basically. But then they played it, and you don't have rewind, and you don't have the internet and everything like that. So people tuned in late and were watching this thing, and it looked real, and people thought they were catching actual hauntings, like crazy hauntings on the TV. And so much so that somebody with some severe mental problems was so freaked out that they took their own life.
Oh, geez.
Because of how scared they were from watching that documentary. Like, if you look it up, it's crazy. But yeah, they disclosed it at the beginning, but back then.
Yeah, if you're listening to the radio, same thing with the War of the Worlds.
Yeah, War of the Worlds.
They read that out on air, announced at the beginning that it was fake, and then people were panicking because they literally thought this was a news broadcast. Yeah, the world was coming to an end, and that aliens were here. So yeah, it can happen.
And then they made the Ice Cube movie, and then everybody was just as angry because of how bad it was.
It was the worst movie I've ever watched.
It wasn't the worst movie of the year.
No.
Nope.
I know what you did last summer. Been watching that one. Anyways, we'll get back. Let's get back into the ghosts here. So there's a few other ones. There's a lot of reported hauntings here, but the main ones are the Gatehouse Sentinel. They also call it like the soldier or guard ghost, but the Gatehouse Sentinel has a cooler name. So this one stands watch on the castle entrance near the gatehouse. They see him in like full armor, helmet, breastplate, everything. They report him mostly on like moonlit nights. So I don't know if the moon helps to reflect off his ghostly armor or something. And it just appears that he's still standing guard.
That's cool.
So it's cool haunting. I don't know if he's moving around. Yeah. I don't know if they have a suit of armor that could be in a suspicious spot where people are thinking that they're seeing the ghost of him, but it seems like a pretty common sighting here.
Some of my favorite ghosts are the suit of armor ghosts. They're so ridiculous.
Yes. Especially when they do stuff like scream.
Yeah, screaming suit of armor. One of my all-time favorites.
That's Rhode Island, right?
Yeah, that was at the Newport Mansions. It would be a hilarious prank just to wear a suit of armor and just stand there and just scream as people walk down the hall or something.
Mm.
And then
it's definitely something we could convince Andrew to do.
He has a suit of armor.
He does.
He does have a suit of armor.
That's really cool, actually.
Have you watched him have to put that on?
Yeah. Funny story about that. We have a Renaissance fair that comes around annually here in Massachusetts called the King Richard's Fair, which is a great time. Big fan. Very expensive, but very fun. And for my youngest son's birthday last year, he really wanted to go. So we're like, all right, cool. We're going to do it. So we set up a day. We bought the tickets. Asked Andrew. He's like, of course I want to go. I'll wear my suit of armor. We're like, all right, sounds good. Day came. Andrew's putting on his armor, but it is raining outside.
Oh no.
So I don't know how many people in chat here have put on a suit of armor. Brent, I know you do it every morning, but for most people that don't do that, it takes a long time. And ended up getting rained out. And there's Andrew in his suit of armor. He's gonna take it all off. And then we ended up going like the next day or something like that. And I show up, Andrew's already there. I'm like, oh great, he's gonna be wearing a suit of armor. I can't wait. And he's just in street clothes.
Yeah.
Damn it, Andrew. He's like, wasn't doing that again.
A few things more amusing than a grown man disappointed in a suit of armor.
Just standing outside in the rain, all sad. It's a hilarious thought.
He should have at least wore his plague doctor outfit though.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That would be cool.
Oof.
Yep. I felt foolish because I was all dressed up and I just go up to Andrew and he's just normal. I'm like, well, now I feel foolish.
What were you dressed up in?
It was kind of like half Jon Snow, half like Spanish pirate. I don't know. It was a Jon Snow cape. And then the rest of it, it was a really cool outfit. I looked great.
Do you have pictures?
No, probably. Maybe the wife does. I'll ask her when she gets home. I'll post it. I look fantastic.
Okay.
Got in a sword fight with my son in the middle of the Renaissance Fair and accidentally like
Beheaded him.
Actually killed him.
Actually, I hit him pretty hard and I felt bad. And I looked like the worst person ever.
Oh, no.
Because I started screaming out in victory.
Well, you got to commit at that point.
Yeah.
These things happen to you a lot. Things like that, running over kids with lawnmowers, kicking dogs off chairs.
You're making me sound like a monster.
Yeah.
Yes, I ran Dave's kids over with lawnmowers, but they were fine. The dog fell.
They go better.
All right, so we also have the ghost called the Black Lady, who is a woman who wears black royal robes. She haunts the northeastern tower and the battlements, and she's described as a beautiful woman with flowing blonde hair. I've seen reports of her with brown hair as well, but she's dressed in fine, sometimes dark robes, which is where she gets the name, and walks along. They casually say, seen walking along the walls at dusk. Now, if she's walking on the walls, that is horrifying. But along the wall, I'm assuming they mean like, up on the ramparts or something.
Just walking like Spider-Man around the walls. That would be terrifying.
That would be terrifying.
Yeah, that is horrifying.
That's
Just sideways.
Yeah, that's what came to mind when I read that sentence. And I'm like, hang on, this could be a lot more scary than I thought, but I don't think so. And you also have just your basic residual battle sounds. And this one's very frequently reported where they'll hear like a battle going on, marching footsteps, clattering armor, clashing of swords. It's like a battle is raging on. And then they also get they attribute it to poltergeist activity, but it's very common, the slamming of doors. But in castles like this, slamming doors, when they're like heavy oak doors, it takes a lot more power. So it's almost more concerning than just your typical slamming doors. Like occasionally if it's drafty outside, one of my doors upstairs will slam. And could be the ghost of my house kind of haunted as well.
It could be.
Yeah, your extremely haunted house. You're like, oh, we'll just blame something else on the slamming door.
Yeah, but I included some shaky footage of it in the video. I don't know if you guys caught the shadow figure in that. And the only video I could find, because this was from a show that they did. I think it was called like, forgive me for getting this wrong. It was called like Haunted Ireland or something like that. I believe it was on HBO Max. And it was a paranormal team that went in there. They had some psychics with them and they investigated. And somebody had found out that they were there or whatever and wanted to present them with their evidence. And they had this video footage on their phone. So what you're getting in the documentary is video of the video. And then this video that I got was somebody that took a video from their phone of the show. So we're getting a video of the video of the video, which is why it looks god awful. But that was what we had. But if you watch the show and you get the video of the video, it's not quite as bad. But you do see it, and you see this. It's a big shadow figure, and it's on the level that's it's almost like a balcony. I don't know the actual word for it, but it's like the ramparts of the castle. But you'll see the pillars, and you see this. It's the shape of like a cloaked shadow person, and it goes, and you see it walk, and there's 3 like holes that you could see, and it goes by each one behind the pillar. And it definitely wasn't a person. It was definitely a shadow. It was a really interesting piece of footage. I'll see if I can pull up the video of the video, and then you guys can get a video of the video of the video of the video when you watch it back. So I'll see if I can find that. But it was actually pretty cool footage, and it didn't look faked.
When you say it didn't look human, what do you mean? Like, what did it look like that made it distinguishable from a human shadow?
It just looked like a shadow that would have been cast by a tall, cloaked person, in my opinion. But there was no person there. You would have seen the person. You only saw the shadow. So it was actually a pretty cool video. I will see if I can pull it up here. But other than...
We just got $4.99 in super chat from Slimer98 saying, Jesse has a ghoul in the attic. Jesse does have a ghoul in the attic. Jesse also has a cool attic.
I also have all my Halloween decorations in the attic, so there are several ghouls in my attic.
We filmed in Jesse's attic before for an episode.
We did the recap of the Hinsdale house.
That's right. Also,
didn't we beat somebody to death in your attic for a video?
Beat Andrew to death in the attic.
We did beat Andrew to death. What was that for? Oh, that was a fun episode that we filmed. I think that was the
Is that Hex Hollow?
Hex Hollow video. Yeah, we filmed most of that opening ghost story like live. That was
We're like, wow, that was a lot of fun, but that was a lot of work. We're not doing that
again. We're never doing that again. Yeah. I'll see if I can just pull up the video because I can't find the downloaded file, but it was cool.
Slimer says, I want to see the attic. Go to the Hinsdale house video, and when you see the recap videos that are spliced into there, that's us sitting in Jesse's attic.
Yeah. That was a very cool aesthetic.
It was.
All right. I have the video of the video, so I will share my screen here, and we can watch this together and analyze. Again, it is very shaky, but we will try. And we'll do it without audio because this is from a show. I don't know actually if it's going to work because it's a YouTube video. No, it's not going to work. Okay. Glad we went through this together.
The shadow is a big black rectangle.
Wow. That's a huge shadow. Very big.
Yeah. We'll get back to this in a moment. Brent, what's been going on with the Paranormal Portal? How's everything going over there?
Good. Things are going good. Still slaving away, but loving every minute of it. Live shows every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. Shameless.
Covered anything weird, particularly weird recently?
Oddly, what's been coming up thematically, especially on the podcast, has been all of these people reaching out with dreams, something to do with dreams, whether they're prophetic visitations or foreshadowing of events to come or something. So it's been kind of odd to me because for the years of doing the show, it's generally, I have a ghost, I saw a Bigfoot or UFOs, but it's been this theme that's constantly coming up, and it's very organic. But dreams have been coming up all the time now, so it's kind of got me wondering, what does that mean, or does it mean anything? Is it just a quirk of the sampling? But it's the people reaching out to be on the show.
Yeah, that is interesting. Dreams. We don't always get into dreams, but every once in a while we'll get a story that has a dream associated with it, usually like a premonition or something. And those are always spooky, especially the ones that are unusually specific.
Or a visit from like a loved one in a dream that had passed away. Like we get that a lot too.
Yeah, same. Really? And that's the themes. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, I do have the video. Again, it's not great. But we'll go through it and we'll see if you guys can see it. So you're going to see basically a cloaked shadow figure move from like left to right here in the video. For audio listeners, swing on over to YouTube and watch this video so you can watch the video of the video of the video of definitely not pirated content that we're playing here on our show. Ghost stories. Okay, here we go. All right, so there it is. Oh god, this is bad footage. And then it goes through the second one.
I see it now.
And then through the third one.
Oh, that is weird. Almost had like a red. I mean, I don't know if that was just from being video copied so many times, but it almost looked like it had a red tint to it.
Yeah, I remember when I watched it on the actual show, it looked like it was just a dark grayish black shadow. But definitely wasn't a person. And I don't know what else could have been casting that shadow, so it struck me as authentic.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a spooky one.
It was a spooky one. So which ghost was that? I mean, it could have been what they call the Black Lady. It could just be a shadow figure. I mean, again, with thousands of people dying in and around this castle, potentially 500 bodies buried in a mass pit, could be anybody. But it definitely looked like a cloaked, dark shadow figure. And it was creepy.
They said that this was built on the top of an ancient Viking settlement before that. Isn't that right?
Correct. Yeah, they have evidence of that as well, dating back, I believe, to the year 922.
Yeah. So I mean, there's so much history in this location. Crazy.
Absolutely. Yep. And it didn't strike me as like an arrogant building on top of a sacred site. It seemed more like that was just a really strategic spot to build a castle. And they have like the Undercroft where it shows the historic, what they've dug up basically, like the architectural site. And it's pretty cool. And there's a bunch of reported hauntings down there. So outside of like psychic stories and what they experience when they're down there, there doesn't seem to be too much solid like repeat hauntings that happen down there that people report, but it's definitely really cool looking. And they've preserved this place well. I don't know if I would do this the same way that they did it. So what they've done with the place now, and I'm not really just talking about the Undercroft. The Undercroft is basically just exactly how it was. They have a place, you can't really go into it. They have like a platform that you can stand on and a catwalk from what I saw, which is how you should do these kinds of sites. But the rest of the castle, they have built like a big modern section, which is basically like the interactive, museum and gift shop that you go through with a coffee shop in there. And they've made it very obvious that is new architecture. If you look at it, you probably saw it in some of the video. It's like the big glass and metal structure that's kind of sitting in the middle. And I actually like that they did that because it separates the obviously historical part to the obviously new part. So I think that's fine. But I don't really like, as I was watching some of the walkthrough, is they've added some like 3D interactive screens and stuff inside the castle, and I think it kind of takes you out of it. I think you leave that for the modern part of the building, and the rest of the building, if I were in charge, I would have left that all just historical pieces. And you see this a lot of times with historical houses where it's not furniture that's original to the house, but they get stuff that would have been of that time period and put that in the house. You saw that with the Winslow house and all these historical houses that you go to. But I think if you're walking through and you're immersed in this experience and you're seeing the weapons and the armor and all this different kind of historical stuff, and then you just got a 3D screen with an actor on it just kind of standing there, which just kind of takes you out.
Playing a blacksmith behind that's what I noticed when you were showing some of the footage. It had that like PlayStation 2 level of graphics blacksmith standing behind the forge, and you're like, probably not needed.
Yeah, just
I understand what would be standing there.
Get the stuff out of there. They have some cool stuff. They have some interactive stuff and everything, and I think that's cool. But you have a place for that. You have that whole modernized section, and they've also kind of turned the courtyard into almost like there's like playgrounds and things for kids to do, which I think is cool. And it's a courtyard, so what are you really going to do with that space anyways?
Yeah,
but
anytime kids can play on a swing set over 500 dead bodies, you got to do it.
Basically, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a very cool place. There was some other things that they did in that show that were interesting. They said that you could summon a certain ghost by singing a certain song, which I thought was kind of cool. But it wasn't the song that me and Dave sang, so I didn't include it. But you can go watch it. They had some techniques that I wouldn't have done there, but overall, it's worth the watch. I believe that was on HBO Max or Prime. I think it was HBO Max, but you go check it out. A little more history on the building, and you can watch an investigation there. It doesn't seem like this is a place that does a lot of paranormal investigations, from what I gather. So it seems like it would be a difficult spot to lock down, but I wouldn't rule it out. So we would have to look into that when we inevitably do head over to Ireland.
Well, one thing people in our Discord can do is they can start letting us know in Discord which songs will summon us after we die.
Yes.
If you're looking for a fun activity, let us know what songs you think, individually or as a group, which songs would summon us after our passing.
It would have to be, I don't remember what episode this would be a callback to, but the slowed down, creepy version of My Milkshake Brings All the Boys to the Yard.
Oh my God. I think that's a huge throwback.
It's a big one. It's a big throwback.
But I think if you're like doing duos of the team as well, though, like I think Hero from Enrique Iglesias would be me and you, Jesse. Like if they were just looking to get ours, like us to summon without Dave.
Oh, it would be Peter Pablo. I think Papa Squash something.
That's a good point. It would be Petey Pablo.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's the general history of it. Again, we dove a lot into the history of just King John, and you know, he was a pretty controversial figure. He was not so good at it for a long time. He made some moves that some people might say were important, but
Robin
overall
hated him.
Overall, it seemed like he was just kind of a crazy guy. Little crazy guy, huh?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Watch that cartoon documentary Dave told you about.
I've seen that documentary.
I think
Rob,
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
Rob, do you think Robin Hood is a documentary?
Well, you went straight to it being a cartoon and not like a historic tale.
But I like how you corrected me by believing it's a documentary. The original was a documentary.
That was part of me joking on what you said.
Oh, sure.
That's how jokes work, Dave. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the best jokes are the ones you have to explain. Very good.
Well, the fact that I have to explain that to you is terrible.
I know everybody else was dying laughing.
Brent, you were saying?
I don't remember. No, I'm sorry. I lost it. Sorry. It happened. I'm old. Oh, that's great.
See, that's why you shouldn't have got rid of the mustache. If you still had that, it would have caught it, kept it there, saved it for you. You'd have been good to go.
Just like my lunch. I used to find parts of it.
I do miss the mustache. Had I known, I never would have invited you on.
I know so.
We're going to need that mustache back for the next one.
I'll marker it in before we go live.
Yes, indeed. Well, Brent, I was going to save this for the very end of the show, but I believe I would like to let you know now that I have a prestigious award to present you with.
At the very end of the show? Are we still going?
We're pretty much at the end of the show anyways, but for the first time ever, I would like to announce that we have officially... I've ruined it, actually. I can't even get this going. So never mind. I have no surprises for you. No awards.
You've been a disaster tonight.
I got a lot going down here. I'm trying to pirate YouTube videos. I'm trying to... Very tricky. I would like to announce that you have officially been named the 2025 Guest of the Year here on Hometown Ghost Stories.
Ooh. Wait.
I would like to say that there is a big prize and celebration.
Thank you.
But actually, all you get is the sound that you just played for yourself and this banner that's scrolling across the bottom of the screen, which just says Brent Thomas, Guest of the Year 2025. So
thank you.
It's been an honor to have you on. You're a legend. It was great to see you in person at the live show. And we hope that there will be many more appearances from Brent Thomas of the Paranormal Portal, the official first ever Guest of the Year, and the one and only Guest of the Year for 2025, because that's how the award works.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys. It's an honor, and I'd like to thank my parents first of all, but also I just really feel at home here with you guys. It's been a lot of fun doing shows together through the years, and thanks for having me come back.
Likewise.
That's very thoughtful of you. And just for that, I have a new announcement for you that you are also the second place Guest of the Year, as well as first place. So you got both.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
Nothing against our other guests. Just want to let you know that you've claimed the top two spots.
He just took a subtle shot at every other guest.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like
well, they're really good
on the show.
That's a good point. I would also like to let you know that No, I'm kidding. All right, moving on. Any reviews to go over?
No. Do you think I had time today to search out reviews?
Well,
Rob, I really thought when you sent that picture over that you were going to have your leg amputated. I'm glad you're on the mend.
It really did look like a cartoon thing, though. You know, like the balloon. Somebody hits themselves with a hammer or something, and that swells up. That had to hurt.
Oh, it still hurts. It has not stopped hurting. It still hurts.
Sorry, man.
We are. So we're surviving.
Good.
For Patreon members, you can watch Rob amputate his own foot. Exclusive for the VIPs. Speaking of the VIPs, let's thank our VIPs real quick. We have Wyatt F, Donnie N. I'm back after a week of working. Well, that's not how that went. I'm back after working a month of Spooky Tuesday. Jennifer A, going off the rails on a crazy train. KCW, Brandino 77, Kathy F, Ghost Nurse JP, another Vice. I'm Jesse Wilkins. Tess, currently whipping shitties in Ohio. Kate and Steve M, Kelly C, Jennifer P, Liz Young, Chris C, LBPS founder, Inspires Gaming, Allison V, Robert H, Janine, Raven Lunatics, Raven Lunatic, just one lunatic there. Mom and Pops W, yes, I am Papa Squatch. Lisa J and Mike Oubliette Blake, thank you so much for being part of the VIPs.
However, if you do pluralize the lunatic when referring to yourself, you're even more a lunatic.
That is true.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I am lunatics.
Ozzy has a great cover of Crazy Train, by the way, right now. So if you're,
I've heard good things.
If you haven't heard that cover, I'd go check that out.
Wait, what?
Fozzy.
Ozzy.
I thought you said Ozzy. I'm like, you're an idiot.
Ozzy has a great cover of Crazy Train
right now. Yeah.
Some say it's the best cover.
Just dropped.
It's so close to the original. All right, next up we have the Warrens Wards, starting off with Tamara A, Nikki, Linda F, Kegsy and Wales, Robin the Witch from VA, Crystal V, Big Badinky Bones shanked me in the leg at Panera Bread.
I know what that means now.
What does it mean?
It's from the Big Badinky Bones is from the Marcus the Worm videos.
Oh. Apparently I'm not versed enough in the Marcus the Worm videos. I thought I was.
Those are some of the best. They really are. We have Go Brent. Go Brent. See that? They're a big fan.
Refund them. Get rid of them.
They're a big fan of the guest of the year. We have Joe and the Dogs. Freya and Frank agree that Rob is right. Ohio is awful. Masshole Medic, Susan C, T-Cat, Whisper. Kitten Clown Dozer, Jeremy M, Shane O'Mac, Cheese Pants for Salami Pockets. Whoever wins, we lose. Beth C, Sarah B, Her Lady Spookship, Victim of Ohio, Colby always remembers. Kath Q, the other Rachel B, Resting Witch Face, Marfire, Lily, Anthony T is convinced that Rob secretly liked visiting Ohio, but is far too committed to the bit at this point to backtrack. I think we might be onto something.
No.
We have Rob's Belly Button creates sandpaper. Chickamauga, Chattanooga, Seth on guitar, and number one podcast. Thank you.
Boom.
Yes, I agree.
Suck it, Brent.
Haha. Take that. Guess the year number 1 and 2. Finally, we'll hop into the Ghost Pirate Mafia, kicking it off with Get Back to Work. The Lunar Joker 07, Lil Cat 02, Damian B, Jet L, Rachel P, Jody L. Turns out Rob can't kick cannonballs. Who knew? That's what happened. Chicky Ticky 67, Tez F, FM Cop, Moon, Patrice R, Cammy and Steve R, Shag Tudabone 33, TV, GS Warrior, Mothman gathers ghouls for ghostly shoveling service, GOB, Grim B, D loves ketchup on eggs, Just Ghostly, Witchy Kitty 416, Karen L, Michael M, Amber R, Brent C, Joe, Kate C, Kelly C, bloop, bloop. Cowboys at their worst franchise ever, Miss Macabre Naroku, Rachel G, Cold Warrior, at Walmart with a small cart buying wall art, a baby fart from Hallmark. Bars.
Wow.
It was a good time.
Sing it with a drunken Irish accent.
I won't. D from H-Town, Meta A, Monster Mom 04, Dave D, Wicked Alley, Dark Snark. If anyone has seen my pet Rock, please be careful when handling him. He loves jumping through closed windows. Arcade Hunters, Wayne C, Crystal Quinn, Halloween 3 is the best and Rob has bad taste. Thick Boy Freddy's baby mama was definitely yeeted. Alicia E, Thick Boy Freddy got caught by Rafferty's. Please call Ron Meshbesher for me. Unlocked up with the ghost of Al Capone. Help. And we have who wins, Dave or 100 leprechauns? That'll be called the Battle of 101 Leprechauns. Sam from the Paul, Joe R, Just Al Capone, Huggy Bear, birds do be flapping, and tornadoes do be happening. Anna C, Mariah M, Kiralee J, Cody G, Hooply Whooply, Soph, and Dr. Spitz. It was actually the name of my dentist.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Which is
Dr. Spitz?
Okay. Want to talk about one was even crazier? My dentist before that was Dr. Butts. Sounds like bad cartoon.
Crazier. Not crazy. Doctor spits for a dentist is insanity.
Dr. Butt was a physician, not a dentist.
Oh, was he a doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Butt.
The Butt Man.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
Oh my god.
Big shout out to Andrew, aka Captain McSlugs. You can follow him on TikTok and watch his ridiculous accordion videos. He provided the much needed accordion in the opening ghost story while me and Dave were singing. So recorded that just instantly. I think it took him less than a minute to get the file over to me. So
pretty funny.
Yeah, it was great. So really added to the story, and it was good. It was good stuff. Some fun new music in this episode. That music will be available probably in October when we drop another spooky album.
The Irish song probably won't be available.
I think
maybe
it should.
Should we complete it?
We could make it awesome. Just have a terrible breakdown.
You can make it like the skits between some of the.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, like in old hip hop albums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Doug brings up a good point that he was a doctor of teeth.
Yeah.
Brent, what do you got coming up on the portal?
Just more episodes, nothing special planned. Just more of the same, but hopefully you guys check it out, and I'd really appreciate it.
Sounds good.
Really anticlimactic, but I mean, there's just it's after New Year's, after the holidays. It's like I'm just coasting right now.
Absolutely. Well, Happy New Year to everybody. It's been a hell of a 2025. Big shout out to everybody who donated. We had Brenda C, Whisper, Tess.
Can you list off everybody who donated in 2025, please?
I just went through the Patreon list, so that covers most of them. And then we had Brenda C and Slimer. So thank you guys for those donations, and happy resub day to Demon King and Incognito. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Is there anything else, gentlemen?
That's it for me.
That's it.
That'll pretty much do it. Be safe tomorrow. Don't drive drunk. Be careful, and Happy New Year, and back at it in 2026. See you next year.
Oh, God damn it.
All right, we'll see you.